I'm poet and writer Kay Spivey. There is a lot going on in the world right now. I'm sure if you don't live under a rock, you've heard about things happening in Minneapolis, the protests that are going on, the police violence. I don't want to just perform support, you know? I don't want to say I'm on your side and then not be doing anything about it. However, it feels very, very much to me that my voice is not the one that needs to be heard right now. There are people who are speaking who need to be heard, and I kind of want to direct you their way. But at the same time, I thought more about what I can do other than, you know, trying to help donate to some of the funds, especially the bail funds for the protests, because none of those protesters deserve to be behind bars for trying to speak out against a corrupt system. But one of the things that I can also do is help encourage the creators out there. So what today's video is a big shout out to the Black booktubers / author tubers / poetry tubers who I love. Here are 10 Black booktube / author tube / poetry tubers who I follow and I love, and encourage you to go and check out their channels as well and to support them. I will start off by saying, don't expect all of them to be present or even talking about this right now. Like, what they're doing with their channels is kind of their own thing, obviously, but go through their backlog because all of them have great videos, even the ones who are right now not posting anything, which is for various reasons, and if I know about them then I'll talk about them as I go through the list. But let's start off with probably the biggest name. Like, I'm sure you've heard of Francina Simone. Francina Simone, like, changed my life when I found her. The way Francina will talk about something is so, like, mind-opening, where you're just like, of course it's that way. She does a lot of talking. I think some of her most popular videos have been addressing controversies, and she will come at things from such a level-headed direction. Like, she doesn't have any agenda behind what she's saying. She's just like, here's the real talk. Here's the reason you're wrong about this. I don't know, watching her videos is just so wonderful. It doesn't matter what she's talking about. And she's also an author. She's published, I want to say 3 books. There's one that's coming out, I believe, in September of this year that I'm pretty excited about, but definitely go check out Francina Simone. All of her videos are wonderful. I love listening to whatever she has to say, and I always feel like she helps enlighten my perspective on whatever she's talking about. Another huge name on this list you may have already heard of is Christina Marie. She does great book reviews. She hasn't posted in quite a long time. I actually double checked because I was like, am I still subscribed to her? I am. It's just been like a long time since she's posted last. If you watch her backlog and you're interested, you can probably find her around on social media a bit more, but she just does wonderful book related content. She's talked quite openly about kind of diversity on BookTube and the BookTube community and the lack of kind of racial equality in many areas. And her perspective on that I felt like was really interesting and necessary for me. It wasn't something that I had necessarily noticed on my own, which I feel like is something that's probably true for a lot of white people, because we do see ourselves so often on channels like on the BookTube community or on the AuthorTube community. We see a lot of people who look like us. It doesn't always register how rarely you're seeing someone who doesn't look like you. Next up is pretty much like the mother of the AuthorTube community, I feel like, and it's kind of weird to say because I think she's probably one of the younger people in the AuthorTube community, but that's Lily Mead. Has fantastic resources on her channel. She videotaped some different panels of conventions. When I started off, just started looking at trying to find an agent, it was her videos that led me there. Watching the panels that she had taped and some of the information that she has talked about. I think I've showed you my mask is from Lily Mead. I bought it from her because her family is making masks during the pandemic and it was super cute. She has also not posted a ton recently just due to their financial situation, which is, I think the most recent video she's posted is about what's going on with her family. And if you can help her out in any way, absolutely do. But also, she's just awesome and she's so sweet. And she is active on Twitter a lot. I think she's mostly active on Twitter talking about Taylor Swift, which is also cute. And also made me kind of give T Swift a chance because I wasn't as into her, and then I watched the documentary and you know what? I like her again. Next up is kind of the other mother of the AuthorTube community, I would say, and that's Tamara Woods. If you're looking for live streams, I feel like Tamara is all over that. She has all kinds of live streams, all kinds of write-ins going on her channel, and at first I was like, well, that's not really the content I'm interested in, but I really like watching hers. If I'm in the mood for watching a write-in, she also collabs with like everybody, so I just hop in on some of hers, and she'll also have just fun other videos, and she just seems like such a nice person. She's really community oriented. She's good at kind of getting the AuthorTube community together. Next up is another person who hasn't posted in a while, and that's Jo the Great. And her reason for it is she wanted to focus on her academics at the moment, which I think is awesome. And hopefully over the summer there might be a little more of her, but she's really ambitious with what she wants to do to contribute to the world, and she just has a great mind for it. She posts really interesting perspectives on different movies and books and kind of their greater social impact. And just brilliant. For example, did anyone else have to read Native Son when they were in school? Native Son was my most hated book partly because I had to read it in high school for summer reading. Now, first up, my teacher was an idiot, because that is not a good book for high schoolers to be reading summer reading. Like, if you have any idea about Native Son, just for the straight up violence aspect of it. It's very, very graphic about very violent scenes, very explicit scenes. It's not something that should be read, certainly not by high schoolers, without some kind of guidance. And we got no guidance, and I was horrified by it. I didn't finish reading the book because I went through and I got through the first extremely violent section, read kind of about what happens later, and decided that wasn't something I needed to read at that time. When I kind of took a stance about that in the class, the teacher basically just called me stupid, and I couldn't find anyone of like my white teachers, or there was another guy, also white, who had done his dissertation on it. I was kind of like, why do we read this? Like, what is the point? And he didn't have an answer for me. So I was just like, I hate Native Son. Native Son is stupid. And then Jo did a video breaking down why it was such a necessary book and like what aspects of it. She did such a brilliant job that I wish someone had done for me all those years ago. Like, I wish there had been that kind of discussion. I wish I'd had that kind of insight into it, been able to see what a necessary book it was. Just that video alone I think is fantastic. She also has one responding to friggin' Trump, where I think the title of the video is just, "I'm from a shithole country." Just brilliant, just brilliant. I cannot recommend her enough if you're interested in kind of really well thought out political and racial diversity activism. I hope when she gets inspired she'll be making another video at some point here soon. Everything she's talked about has just been so smart and so interesting. Next up is another booktuber. If you're looking for booktubers, I got them for you. This is Oh She Reads. I think I found her through Christina Marie. I don't remember exactly, but she just has a fun perspective also. And she's another one who really goes into kind of the racial inequality that's going on BookTube. And also she had an interesting video when people were getting mad about Black Ariel. She had a response to that. The next one I want to recommend is Books and Big Hair. She is just a really sweet booktuber, but she's also an author, and I believe her book already just come out. It just came out recently. She hasn't posted in a little while also, I think because she's been focused on being an author, which is so great. Her book looks so good. I definitely recommend you check her out, and also check out her book. So many of these creators that I follow are already authors, and not all of them were when I started following them, which is really kind of cool. Next up is Bowties and Books, and I only recently started following her. I believe I actually found her through Camille Myrick. She has interesting booktube content. She also talks about kind of what's going on in the different booktube, authortube communities, which has really been interesting. If you're really interested in what's going on with the protests and everything, she is very active on Twitter about this. So if you after this are like, I just really gotta know what's going on everywhere, head on over to Bowties and Books Twitter account, and she kind of has quite a bit about what's going on with the protests. And then let's go into some poets as well. There aren't a ton of just poetry enthusiasts on YouTube still, but one who I really enjoy is The Poet's Corner. She's just so sweet, and she has such a like open and honest and lovely perspective of poetry books, and it just, anytime I listen to her talk about her experience with reading a book, I'm just like, that just sounds so wonderful. Like everything she reviews is just so wonderful. So if you're interested in someone with some interesting poetry to recommend, definitely recommend The Poet's Corner. And then last, number 10 is another one that I found recently, and she's actually Egyptian and living in the UK, and it's Intellect Grime. And she does a lot of really interesting poetry readings. She also talks about writing poetry quite a bit. And it's really interesting to also have like a British perspective. They teach poetry completely differently over there than they do here, and possibly they teach it differently in Canada. Like poetry is very much unappreciated in the like regular like elementary through high school system. It's not even that popular in college, even if you are in classes for it. People are still like, who doesn't like poetry? And it's like, this is the class for poetry. Nobody here should hate poetry. But anyway, they don't teach it like that in the UK. They really go into poetry as a creative medium, as another art form, as another writing form. And so hearing British YouTubers or UK YouTubers talk about poetry is just so lovely. And they also have like a different type of appreciation for it. I don't know. I found this with several different UK poetry channels. And the Intellect Grime is one. She does a lovely job of reading her favorite poems. There's a whole series where you can just listen to her read poetry, but then she also goes in depth about writing poetry, and I just really, really loved her. So there you go. There you have 10 different author-tube / booktube / poetry tubers who I really enjoy, and I really hope that you go and support them and check them out. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for people to follow. I just think now is the time to really be supporting the creatives out there who don't get as much support. Everything starts on kind of a base level. People have to be able to see themselves, but they also have to be able to see other people. Like I was talking about at the beginning, like you don't always recognize your privilege, you don't always recognize that you're seeing a very closed off section of the world until it's pointed out to you. One of the ways we can start realizing this just as a whole is to throw our support behind more Black creators and more creators of all different nationalities and ethnicities and colors. The more diversely you read, the more you kind of open your own world up. You support people who are outside of where your small bubble of the world is. The more other people also get to know those people, and it sort of spreads. Like once you recognize, this is gonna sound terrible, but this is like base level. Once you recognize other people as also people, you stop having a lot of the prejudices you have. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to explain, but basically it just boils down to try more to actively support other creators, especially Black creators. I mentioned before, Francina Simone is probably the biggest person on this list. She does not have the same kind of numbers as some white booktubers or white author tubers who are doing similar things and who have been around similar amounts of time. Or Christina Marie does not have the kind of following that people with very similar channels to hers, but who aren't Black, do have. So some of it is just not being found on YouTube. YouTube algorithm is not kind to people who don't already have pretty big followings, but also we can help people to get more of a following who are doing fantastic work, who are making the interesting kinds of videos that I think we all need to watch more of. So I'm gonna have all of the channels obviously linked down below, and I went ahead and flashed all of them across the screen for you so you can kind of get an idea of who I'm talking about and what their videos look like. And that's why I did all of them. If you wanted to check back, it has the screenshots set so you can see their most popular videos, so you can really see what kind of content they're known for rather than just what they posted most recently. So yes, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you found someone new to follow from that list. I really hope so. I tried to find like a diverse grouping of people who I just like really love, but who all did kind of different things, so that there'll be someone out there for anyone following me to find somebody new. That'll be it from me today. I hope that you are staying safe and I hope that you are staying healthy and that you are also kind of thinking about what you can be doing right now to support people or to lend your voice, or even in some cases redirect others to the voices that need to be heard, which is what I'm hoping that this helps to do today. So thank you very much, and I will see you again soon, and good luck to all of us. Bye.